Hey book besties, okay, welcome back to another video. It is pretty much the end of the month. Ignore my sweatshirt. It is nowhere near Christmas right now, but I'm on my period. The cramps be cramping, and it has been raining for like 3 days straight. So I'm kind of just vibing. Let me just go with it. I hope it's not too distracting. But I am very comfy right now and I didn't want to switch, but I needed to make this video right now. So that's what I'm doing. And as you saw in the title of this video, this is my July wrap-ups. And then I also will post my August TBR in this exact same sweatshirt because I'm doing it right after. Let me know if you'd prefer 2 short videos and those separate, or if you'd prefer like just one long video. I feel like when I watch YouTube videos, I don't really have a preference, but maybe other people do. Like maybe they do. And I have no idea. And I think it's probably more of like your favorite influencers, and I'm definitely not there yet. Like we're not besties yet. We're just like friends. Yeah. But we'll work our way up. We'll get there. I believe in us. So today we're doing my July wrap up. I read 8 books in the month of July, and I just want to preface this by saying, I did not, it's August. Okay, I'm not redoing that clip, but it's August. I just want you to know, this is my August wrap up. I need to stop touching the table because it keeps moving. This is my August wrap up, and I just want you to know I am only posting and reviewing about the 8 books that I have had videos on in the month of July. Which I know if you've watched my July TBR, you're going to be like, Daisy, you said 12 books. I know, and I had to shift my videos around, but I don't want to review them on my July TBR if I haven't posted about them. And I am like a full-time student, like I'm working a full-time job. It's summer currently, so I'm working full-time, and then in literally 2 weeks I'm going back to school. And when I post this, I'll be like pretty much, I think I'll be starting that next Tuesday. The 3rd of September, I think it is, right after Labor Day. And so I can't post, and I can't read, edit, and post all within like a 3-day span. And I just need to have I just need to be like 2 videos ahead just in case like I'm not able to do as much as I want to. So I just want you to know that like I have read, I've read a couple extra books in the month of July, so it's like, Daisy, you're slacking. I'm not slacking, I swear. August is going to be a huge reading month for me. But I need some time. Like, I need to just, like, make a big backlog of videos, and I had to shift things around. So the books I put on my TBR are not going to be the same books as I'm putting on my wrap-up right now. So bear that in mind, but let's get to it. My overall rating was a 4.25, which is high. And I'm not going to sit here and be one of those girls that's like, I'm just a really harsh rater, like I'm a harsh rater. I'm a mid-rater. Like I like to read, I like to hand out good stars, you know? But also like I will put it down if it's not good. Like don't get me wrong, like July was full of like 2 and 3s. But this month was good. And I think what's happening is I am trying to go back and read books that like past YouTubers have like rated high. And so I'm just like, I'm reading the best of the best books, and so I'm rating them really good. And I'm not going to sit here and complain. I just want to have an opinion on them. And so my ratings are really high. So keep that in mind as you go throughout this video. Is like, let me know if you agree with these or not. But I recommend every single book I read this month. Like, I had a great reading month, and not every month is like this. Yeah. So first I started out by reading the Powerless. It's like the trilogy, but the 3 books aren't completely out yet. So I read Powerless, Powerful, and Reckless. And so it's book 1, 1.5, and 2. And overall, I think, so I had Powerful and Reckless as 5 stars. Beautiful. And then Powerless and Reckless as 5 stars, and Powerful as a 3 stars. And I would just say Powerful was a perfect book. It was so good. I think Peyton and Kai are just, like, their chemistry is so good. I love me a good slow burn, and I could say that a million times over, is, like, and especially, like, enemies to lovers slow burn, like, if an author knows how to do it right, like, I'm hooked the whole entire time. And, like, he's not supposed to love her. And so, I don't know, maybe I'll just give a quick synopsis of the books, of the first book in the series, so that I don't ruin everything for you. But the first book, so it's basically, I'm sure you've heard, it's like Hunger Games, but different. So Peyton is an ordinary person living in a world where almost every other person has, like, magical powers. And, she gets put into this trial, and so it's like the Hunger Games game. So she gets put into these, like, dystopian games, and she is put head to head with the prince. He's not next in line for the crown, so he's just the prince, which is still huge. He has, like, big time powers, and it's just like a slow burn of their love and them fighting in the trials, and yeah, you'll see what happens. That's, like, as much of a description as I can give without reading too much into it and giving you too much. One thing I will say about this book is that Lauren Roberts' writing, she knows how to write. And if there's anything about me, I love a slow burn, 1, but 2, I love, like, some good quotes, and she has those. Like, my books are highlighted, and I'm excited to go back in the future and read them. I'll probably read them again when Fearless, I think that's what it's called, Fearless, her 3rd and final book in this trilogy, comes out, because they're so good. Number 2 was a story about not Peyton, I can't remember her name right now. Don't sue me. Okay. It's a story about her best friend, and, like, her story while Peyton was at the trials. And we get to see a little bit of Peyton and her best friend in the beginning of the book, and so this is just, like, playing on that and giving us more on it. I feel like everyone, like, really loved this book, but I just thought it was, like, I thought it was okay. I gave it a 3 stars. And then the final book, I can't give you any information on this. Like, there's nothing I could give you that wouldn't spoil the first one. I rated it 5 stars. A lot of people say it's a little too slow, and I feel like I could see that, but I also just love the characters so much that I rated it 5 stars. So do with that information what you will, but I love the characters in this movie. And then next I read 4 historical fiction books, and so I read The Woman, Lovely War, Beneath a Scarlet Sky, and What the Wind Knows. And I rated Beneath a Scarlet Sky 3.5 stars. Lovely War I rated 5 stars. And then What the Wind Knows I rated 4, and The Woman I rated 4. So let's talk about all those individually. If you want a more in-depth, like, experience with me on that, I have my historical fiction vlog in my YouTube, so just go watch that after this, because it's good, I swear. Lovely War, let's talk about it first. I rated it the highest. I was ready for this book to be good. Destiny Sidwell rated it 5 stars. I was ready for it. I was not expecting that good of a book. I did cry. It was the perfect, like, romance book. I love how it was told from 3rd person, but I felt so immersed in the story. And it's a story about, like, two sets of lovers who were in World War II, and it kind of just shows like their separate stories, but they're kind of like intertwined together. And it's so beautiful. Like I could not recommend this book more. And it's just like the perfect historical fiction book. I will say this is primarily like a romance book, like romance historical fiction. So if you're looking like no romance, strictly historical fiction, this is not the book for you. I can recommend you something else, but this is not the book for you. But I would recommend you read it. Because the romance in this book is like no other, and I fell in love with the characters. It was so beautiful. And there's like a couple twists in there that you would never see coming. Anyways, the next book is The Woman, and I actually soft DNF'd this one a couple months ago, so I was like a little bit weary going into this book, reading it for the historical fiction reading challenge. But Destiny Sidwell also rated this one 4 stars, and I was like, okay, I'll try again. I'll try to get a little bit past it. I still had a hard time getting into it again, because I just picked up where I left off. Like, I remembered everything. So getting a while into it, it was just really difficult. I will say there was something, but I don't remember it now, and I don't want to, like, go and look at my notes. So this book takes place, the girl, it's like a female main character, and she's going into war. She has like a couple instances of falling in love, and you'll see what happens there if you read the book. I just want to say, like, it took 200 pages, which is about halfway, for me to be fully invested in the story, and for me to like be like, okay, like something's happening here, and it's not just like building up to it, which is just a little bit slower than I would have liked and normally would enjoy. But that's probably like the biggest fret with it. I loved being able to see like her growth and her building of a character, because like while this book had other characters in it, she was like strictly the main character. Like she had other love interests and she had like friends, but I think this book did a really good job at portraying the woman nurses' experiences during the Vietnam War. And I like have grandparents who have served in the Vietnam War, and I just like, it was just a beautiful story to be able to see their like the FMC's experience from the beginning to the end. Like it walked you through her enrolling, her being in, her being done, her having PTSD, her getting over everything, like the whole story, and it was beautiful. The only reason it wasn't 5 stars was because it just was a little bit too slow to get into. And then the last book I read for this reading vlog, no, I have 2 more, sorry. So the next one is What the Wind Knows, and this is actually a time travel historical fiction book, and it's based in Ireland, which is interesting because it was like during Ireland's war, and I just know nothing about that. So it's so interesting to like read about, and it was a time travel. So this girl, she is like best friends with her grandpa pretty much, and right before her grandpa passes away, he's like, I want you to go to Ireland and be able to like experience everything. And then so she goes to Ireland, she like spreads his ashes in Ireland, and then she gets sucked into this world when her grandpa was just like a little boy. And it was just like, it's this beautiful story about her finding love, her leaving, without choice, obviously. Like most of the time when you're sucked into like time travel romances, it's like, oh, they have to go back and they just didn't know. And so it's like this beautiful story of her like falling in love with a man, and then also with her grandpa as like a little boy, and being able to like look back at those experiences that he created for her when she was a little girl, and now she's like, she was the one that created them for him. And it's like almost a circle, and it's like hard to wrap your mind around, so I wouldn't try too deeply. It was it was so beautiful. I think the end dropped off a little bit for me, and I just like kind of lost a little bit of interest. But I love this book. I think this book does not have the hype it deserves, and it needs it. So if you want a good time travel romance, if you want a good historical fiction, read this book immediately. It is on Kindle Unlimited. So I would do it. I would recommend, and I didn't see any of like big YouTubers that had shelved this book on Goodreads. So I think I might be starting a trend if we all read this together. And then the last book I read for this vlog, for the historical fiction vlog, was Beneath the Scarlet Sky, and I rated that one a 3.5 stars. I thought it was good. I thought it was a little too slow for my liking. It was World War II, but actually from the perspective of a boy from Italy, I believe he was from. And he was helping people like escape World War II, and like he was helping the Jews get out secretly, and then his parents actually enlisted him into World War II to fight for the Germans so that he was safe. And it just shares like his beautiful story of being a spy with them, and it's actually based on a true story. It's like a stunning story, and I really love it. There's like a small romance in it. I would have liked to see that shine a little bit more, like either put it in or put it out. It just didn't feel like it was like, it just felt like the author couldn't pick or choose, and I would have been like totally fine with no romance in this book. But it was just like a little bit randomly thrown into the book, if that makes any sense, and that didn't feel like the main premise of the book. But other than that, it was a little bit slow, but I thought it was a good book. I thought it was a great book. I would recommend this to anybody. I would say it wouldn't be like my first historical fiction pick up again, but it would be like one of the top ones that I would be like, yeah, like read this book. Like you should read it and get to like experience other perspectives of World War II, because we don't get to see that. So I thought it was great. It was a good book. And then the last book I read was It Ends With Us. And then I went and watched a movie for that, so you will be seeing that. I think I posted that just recently. After I posted this vlog. And I thought it was a great book. I am not a huge Colleen Hoover fan. I've read a couple of her books. I'm not a big fan of how everything is based around like just negative themes, and it's like all of her main characters have like really weird, terrible issues, or like there's like cheating tropes, and it's like totally okay if you're cheating, and it's like that's not how this works. Like, yes, I'm just a girl, but also like I'm not taking someone back if they cheat on me. Like, I've never done that, and I mean, my husband's not gonna cheat on me, but like I never would take like anyone back. Like, there's no excuse for that. Yeah. But that's not what this book is about. This book is about domestic violence. And so I would say there are a lot of trigger warnings while reading this, and I would not read it if you are not like in a good headspace. I don't feel like it was, I can't judge actually. I don't want to say I don't feel like it was terrible, because I have never been put in that situation. I rated this one a 4 stars. It is a story about this girl named Lily, and then she falls in love with a guy named Ryle, and he is just like he's abusing her. And it like happens a couple times. Well, it only happens 3 times, which is still a lot. That's not me saying like the situation is like not bad. It is still a lot. She should still leave. But what makes it worse is her mom got abused by her dad for her whole childhood. And so she doesn't want to get caught in that same situation her mom did. And so it's a story about her walking away from her abuser, even though they're in love, and there are like a couple twists in the story. And so as you know, the book came out, and then I don't know when it came out. So yeah, but the movie came out recently. So I actually switched my vlog timing around and just posted this one early because I wanted it to be early before like a million people did it, like posted vlogs about it. So I have to do like a lot of editing really fast for this one YouTube video, but hopefully it'll be okay. It's just one book, so I'm like, it can't be that bad. I rated this one 4 stars. I would recommend. I couldn't tell you what I didn't like about this book. I genuinely couldn't. It didn't give the 5-star feelings, and I don't know if that's just because it's Colleen Hoover, and Colleen Hoover is not a 5-star girly. But I gave it 4 stars. And maybe it should be 4.5. Maybe I'll change that later. I have no idea. But it's 4 stars right now, and I might read It Starts With Us? I don't know, but I like the book. I did. And so that is all 8 of the books I read this month. Once again, there were 4 historical fiction, 3 fantasies, and 1 romance, and that would be 4.25 rating. I actually didn't calculate the pages I read, but I'm just going to put that right here if anybody's even watching still. I love you, bestie, if you are. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so that we can get more besties into this little group of ours, and maybe we can make a book club one day. That would be so fun. Okay, so I'll see you in my August TBR video in just a minute. Bye-bye.